Yo, what's up, fam? Thank y'all for tuning in today. I know it's been a while and there's been so many different updates. So today I want to show you a step-by-step guide of how to make your very first beat on the new 3.4.4 update on the MPC Live. So the first thing first, what you want to do when you turn on your MPC, you know, whether that's the MPC Live, MPC, any of the MPC products, the first thing you want to do is click on new project. So click on new project. And then what you see here is the default. So this is a trap kit default, right? Now, these do have some sounds that you can use immediately. But most of the time, what I like to do is just go ahead and delete that. So how you delete this is you click on this right here. And then what you do is delete track. So now everything is deleted, right? Second thing I want to do first is let's start looking for a track. So as you see, you got all of this here. Now, if you go to your menu, I just want to show y'all something real quick. You'll see you got your track edit, you got your sample edit, you got your sampler, you got your effects right here, the XYFX, that's your effects. You got your grid view, step sequencer, song, you know, all of these things are here. So if you ever trying to find any of these, what you do is just click menu once, you'll see it all. And then they also have something that I love now is the arranger, right? So the first thing you want to do once you're here on the screen, you want to go and click on new track again. Now this right here, you can either choose audio, drums, plugin, key group, MIDI, CV, or etc. Or you can just go close. What I usually do, I'm just showing y'all how I would do it, and just click on my folder. So this is the browse folder, right? Next thing you do is go to places. Now, if you have an MPC product, what you're going to need is a actual SD card. You want an SD card that has about 64 gigabytes, 128 gigabytes. This is where you're going to store all of your storage. This is where you're going to store your sounds, your drums, your instruments, you know, whatever you may use to make your beats, that's what you'll have. So this is like the interface. This is showing you exactly how it would look on the new 3.4.4 update or the 3.3.4 update. They have so many updates. So, you know, I'm going to try to keep up with them as much as I can. But what you would do, mine, I call it MPC Live SD card. So I would click on my MPC Live SD card. And then what I would usually do is go through my sounds, right? I think that's hard. I think we'll just choose that. Right? So what you would do is click load. As you see, I press load. First thing you want to do is click load. Once you click load, you want to go to menu. And then what you want to do is click sample edit, right? So boom, sample edit. Now you have the actual sound sample installed into the MPC. If you press pad 1, it'll play immediately, right? And it'll play all the way through. You can press pad 2 to stop it, pad 3 to stop it. Now, usually what I'll do, I'll go to tune. I'll tune it up. So let's say here. Yeah. Right? So we're going to use this sample right now. It's already coming out fresh. It's coming out hot. You know, I love the sound. It's reminding me of like a movie or film, but what we're going to try to do today is turn it into a boom bap, something heavy hitting, you know. What I did was tune it up once. Now, what you could do too, if you want to keep like, say for instance, right, if you want to keep the same tempo, but you want to tune it up, you can do it a different way by going to process, right? So we saw how it sounded with the tune up on 1, but you can go to process. And then what you would go is scroll over all the way until you see something that says pitch shift, right? So you got pitch shift here. What you would do is click on this right here on pitch shift and then tune it up once, right? Just like that. And then what you would do is click do it. Then it would play the exact same tempo, just pitched up once. Now, for this example, I'm just going to go straight to tune, right? So tune up, boom, we're here. We like it. It's fire, right? So now what you want to do, you want to go to manual, right? So you can either manual chop this, you can click regions, you can do BPM. Usually how I would do it is just manually chop, right? So I'll get the BPM in my head, and then once you're ready to manually chop, you just go for it. So right here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go back and play with it. Make sure it's right. Keep going. And if you ever make a mistake, like if you feel like you're making a mistake, what you can do is click undo on your chop. So let's say here, right? So that right there, I felt like I made a mistake. I'm gonna go back a few. Catch it. See what I'm saying? Right? And then you can just stop there. And what you can do too is click zoom in, right? And then we can cut it here. Right. Done. So after you find the chop, you can go back, play with it, you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of get a feel. I want to start this actually right on point. So right here, right? And then that's why I like to do the zoom in, because you can really get close and see what's going on. So see what I'm saying? That's the beauty of making music. Like, you just got to go for it. You never know what it's going to turn out to be. So another thing too, to kind of, clean it up a little bit, what I usually do is click shift and then I click 0 snap. So shift and 0 snap is just kind of to keep it clean a little bit more. You know what I mean? And it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, when you're making music, you want to be original. Sometimes people will say, hey, you need to do stuff a certain way. But honestly, that's what makes you different from the rest. You know what I mean? Doing your own thing. So never be afraid to just go with the flow, have fun, enjoy the process, and just create, because you never know what you'll create. Right. So I like those chops. I think those are dope. The next thing I would do is click shift, hold. And then what you want to do to get the actual sample into the project, to really start playing with it and record it, hold down on shift, and then what you would click is convert. So there you go, right? And then you will see it say new drum tracks using slices. What you want to do is click do it, boom. So now you're here. Now what you want to do next is click main. Once you click main, now you're in here. You got your chops. And I love this interface too, man. All the colors and stuff, it gets you in the mood, you know what I mean? It makes you want to really create something fire. You can start with your samples immediately, just kind of chopping it up, kind of see what you want to come up with. You know what I'm saying? That's so tough. I get super excited, you know what I mean? Because when I'm in the creative process, I kind of zone out, man, and just try to create something dope. Basically, this is the interface. You can start playing with your samples immediately. And then what we want to do is catch a tempo, right? So let's try to catch a tempo to this. What you would do, you see the tempo tap right here. You just tap it as you're actually chopping it up. So that's about 68. So what you usually can do as well too is click on Metro. And then what you want to do is turn it into record and play. Record and play again. Same thing. Right? Close. Now you have the actual metronome. Right? And then you can see if it matches up. What we're going to do 68.49. What we'll do is click here, boom, right? And then what I'll do is exit out of there and just go 68. Make it even, right? 68 BPM. We'll click do it. And then from there, what you want to do, you can go to the arranger. So this is the arranger. This is how the arranger platform looks. This is actually where the sample is located right here. Okay. Now, what I usually like to do for intro, I would do 4 bars, you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of give it, you know, that feel before the actual beat come in. So I go back here to arrange. So let's do that again, right? How many bars do I want? And then what you would do is click on arranger, and then you would click up here, which will create 4 bars. And then you would go back to main, right? And then play, or you can just click overdub and then play. And it's going to start from the beginning. You start your chop right here. And then what you do, you click on that overdub again, so the actual sample can play through. Hard. So right there, you just created your first intro. You know what I'm saying? So there you are, right? All you had to do is click on the tab, find the tempo. Once you're ready to record, overdub, play to start, you start the record. Now it has those 4 bars. Now the next thing we're able to do is say, okay, that was the intro. We're going to click on the sequence. So let's name it. Let's try to stay organized here, right? Just hold down and then just put intro, INTRO, right? Boom. So you know that that's your intro. You want to stay organized. And now we want to start to try to get into the beat. So we know the sample is at 68 beats per minute. We know that this is the intro. Now what we want to do is copy this sequence over and actually start the beat. So usually what I like to do is click on this pencil tool and then copy sequence. So what I would do is go to copy sequence, boom, right? See that it's the intro, right? But this time we're going to call this verse, right? So this will be the main verse. So we type in verse, we'll go do it. As you see, you're copying the sequence from the intro into an unused sequence, which will now be titled verse. So then you would click do it. Now, when you play it, of course, the intro is going to play again. So I want y'all to see this, right? What we're going to do is click stop, go to the arranger. So this is what I do. I go to the arranger. I'll hold down on this, right? And then I will click clear, not delete, because if you click delete, then you're going to delete the whole track. What you want to do is click clear, right? So once you click clear, now it's gone, right? So now you got a clean slate. You're not going to hear anything, right? So now we're going to try to start building up the actual verse part. So let me try to put something together. Here we go. So. Hard. Then what you do, you click off overdub. Now let's go back to the intro. Still should be here. See what I'm saying? Fire. Just enjoy the process, y'all. For real. Then to the verse. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What you want to do now is add some other elements. So we can, you know, let's try to add some drums. That's my favorite part anyway. Everybody gotta love the drums. You know what I'm saying? That's what keeps the bounce. That's what gets the actual track rolling. You know, it's what gets the people going. Yeah. So now we got the verse. What we want to do is go to new track. So in order to add either drums or another audio track or whatever you want to do, always at first back then we could click here, but you don't want to do that. You want to click over here where it says new track, right? Boom. So you got new track. And what we want to do is add in the drums. So we'll click drums, Boom. So now you got a clean slate with the drums. Of course, the actual sample is still going to keep playing, but now what you can do is go click on browse. Now, make sure when you do have your SD card that you have everything organized, because it'll be easy for you to find. So you can organize all your samples, you can organize all your drums, you know, sounds, etc. So you see, this is my favorite folder, drums, bro. Boom. Click on the drums, bro folder. I think this is a boom bap feel. So I'm going to go to, let's go to right here, my boom bap drum sounds, right? So that's pretty tough. I think I like these actually. So what we'll do, once you find your actual sound of drums you want to use, you will click load. Once you click load, you will go to menu, click on menu, and then what you would do is go to sample edit again. Now, here are your drums. Now I'm gonna put y'all on another, you know, thing that I've picked up over time just producing to make you speed up your process and make it easier. What you want to do is click here. So if it's in manual and chop, it's basically saying get ready to manually chop that. But what we want to do instead, we want to click on chop again, and then we want to click on this arrow right here. Now what you want to do is click here where it says from BPM. So as you can see, you hear the drum track, right? But we want to make sure that it matches up with the actual sample. So what I will usually do is click from BPM. Now when we play out this drum pattern, 2, 3, 4, it's a 4-bar loop. So what I will usually do is go back, right? And then now we have 4 beats, which is at 79 BPM. What you want to do is click match, right? So now if you listen to it, now we'll see if that matches up. If it doesn't, then that means we need to put it back at 8 count. So let's see. Matches up great. Matches up perfectly well. So what you want to do is literally click overdub again, right? And then now you're going to record that drum in. So let's do that. Yes, sir. So now that I got the drums and everything's kind of matching up, what I typically now want to do is go back and re-chop that sample up. So what I'll do is, we're here, right? We're going to go to arrange. So go to arrange, hold down on this, and then click clear. So once again, you're going to clear that. Then you're going to click clear. Now you didn't delete the actual sample, but you cleared it so you can actually chop it up again. So now you should just hear the drums right off the gate, right? You see what I'm saying? And then I want to start chopping up something different. So I'm going to do that. So what we do is click overdub, play from start. Now let's chop that up. Is copy the sequence again. Let's add another element. So what I'll do is copy that. I'll put verse 2, right? So boom, verse 2. You'll click do it on that. So now again, you got the verse, same verse, but then you'll do verse 2, do it, add another element, go back to arrange, right? Clear this out again. So we'll clear that out. Now you can add another chop. So you kind of pretty much building your beat from here for the most part. Now we want to add something to the actual verse 2 to keep it going. So let's try to chop something up. Let's add that. Yes, sir. So as you see right now, super gritty boom bap, you know what I'm saying? Basically what you was able to do is chop up your samples, you know, and then record in your drums. Now I've showed you all how to match the drums. I've showed you how to chop the sample. I've showed you how to copy the sequence. And now what we're going to do is add a few more drums, some 808 stuff like that. And then we're going to get into the bouncing process, right? So now what we're going to do is try to add in some drums, 808s or something like that. So let's start with the actual first joint, right? So the first verse, what we'll do again is go back to the drum. So what you can do here, you see the sample right here. What you can do is go back over to the drums. And then what you want to do is go to browse again. So remember, you have this drum sound here, right? So now what we want to do is add some 808s. I will go back to my folder. I do love these right here. So we'll go to 808s, right? And then we'll go through some 808 sounds. Can't beat that. So we'll click that right there, load. And then you can go through some different ones just in case. That's pretty hard too. Let's go with that one. So then what you usually would do is click 16 level. So full 16 level. So now you have different tones of the 808s, right? Right? So once you click 16, say if I want to use this one, right? Or this one. Either one, I will click 16 levels. Now I'm able to go up the scale with all my 808s, right? So next, what we're going to do is lay down the 808. Okay. So in order to add in your 808s, what you would do is click on overdub, and then you would click play from start, and then that's when you start to record it in. Let's see what we got. What you can do as well is put in like a note repeat. You know what I'm saying? Let's try that. You see what I'm saying? See, it's already hidden. You got the boom bap feel, you know what I'm saying? I can hear somebody like West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway. You know, they definitely can rip this track up easily, man. So yeah, shout out to them. Shout out to all my boom bap heads, you know what I mean? That's pretty much how you like put the track together. So now what we go do is move into actually tracking it out. So what we'll do is actually go into menu. So once we click menu, we want to go to song, right? Once you're here, what I usually do is start to insert how I want this to track out. So the first track would be the intro, right? We'll leave that for 4 bars, and then I would go insert again. And then what we do here is go into the verse, right? So we'll leave that for 2 times, and we'll go here, go into verse 2, same thing. And let's play that from the start and just see how it sounds. And then you can arrange it however you want to arrange it. Then I'll show you how we'll go into the arranger as well. Sound like something out of a movie. So say if you already, kind of tracked your beat out, kind of how you wanted to go from the intro to the verse, to the actual hook, then what you would do is click to go to the arranger. What I usually do is click shift, and then I will click convert to sequence, right? So boom, I'll click convert sequence. It'll go to unused track, include mutes. What you do is do it. Now what you do is go back to main and then go to the arranger. So now what you do, if I go here to track 5 from song, then you go to arranger. Now you see the entire track is here, right? So you got the whole thing tracked out, ready to go. And then you can kind of play with different things. So if you click from start, it'll play the whole track out, right? So now you got your actual track in the actual arranger. You cooked up your beat. Now you got it in the arranger. What I really like about the arranger is that you can actually organize everything. So you got the whole track out. What you can do is click shift, right? And then what you want to do is set. So that right there you see is a locator. But we don't want to just name it locator. We actually want to name this part intro. And this is a great way to organize. What you would do is click here. Now you see locator, and what you can do is rename it. So boom, let's go intro, right? So there you go. Now you got your intro closed. You see the locators right there. Intro will play immediately, no problem. You know what I'm saying? So now what we want to do is move over. We want to call this verse. So you kind of know what you're doing. You want to keep everything organized. So now what you want to do is set the actual verse. So what we'll do, shift again, hold, set, locator. We don't want to name it locator. We want to rename it verse. So you double click that, click here. And then what you would do is call it verse, right? Boom. So now, right, your verse play. So you got the intro. So now you got your verse. So that's how you actually organize, set your locators, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what you want to do. After that, you got the whole track out. What you want to do if you're ready to bounce it, what I usually do is just go shift, right? Go back to main, go back to menu, go to the song mode, and then what you want to do is go shift, or you could do export, right? So then you would export the entire track out. You can export it in wave, etc. You would click export. And then what you want to do is go to wherever your SD card is. Mine, for example, is MPC Live. For this, we'll call it Boom Bap, right? Boom Bap 2025. Boom, and then click do it. And then once you save it, it'll save to your actual SD card, and then you'll be able to track it out. So that was the basics of actually building a track from scratch on the new 3.4.3 update. And just so you can make sure, here it is, 3.4.3 update. It's another update coming out soon, and it's pretty much the same process, just with some other different elements and caveats added to it. But you know, again, I just wanted to show you guys to start from scratch. If you're having any trouble and you want to reach out to me, I'm definitely open to doing one-on-one consultations. Link down below. You know, I'm always here to reach out to and just discuss music. You know, that's what makes the world go around. So if you did like this, please like, subscribe, share, you know, share your feedback, some of the other stuff that you're wanting to learn on the MPC. As of now, you should now know how to make your very first beat on a 3.4.3 update on any MPC product. And I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Music make the world go round. Keep going, keep learning, keep working on your craft. You know what I'm saying? Because eventually all of that hard work will turn into greatness, and the world will see what you were working on and why you are where you're at. So never stop. Salute. Keep going. Like, subscribe, and share. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.